Thanks for being here today. We have a series of announcements. This is all related to the Broad Street Run. Pleased to be joined by the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety and our Chief of Staff, Everett Gillison. I want to thank Mike Resnick, our Director of Public Safety, City Representative Desiree Peterkin-Bell, and the First Deputy Police Commissioner Ross, and the other Deputy Commissioners who have joined us. First Deputy Commissioners in Parks and Recreation, Sue Slauson and Mark Folk. I thank them for their work. Jim Marino, who is the Blue Cross Broad Street Run Race Director, and certainly Dan Hilfer, the President and CEO of Independence Blue Cross. We thank them and all of the folks over at Blue Cross, all the city employees, the runners, the volunteers, police, and emergency personnel who will participate in this year's race on May 5th. Just a couple items. Since the tragic events in Boston unfolded last month, this year's Blue Cross Broad Street Run has taken on an entirely new meaning and certainly focus. Just a few hours after the bombings happened, you will recall we held a press conference in City Hall and addressed safety and security issues in Philadelphia, pertinent to that particular incident, but also anticipating that, of course, we had a run coming up in a couple weeks. The City of Philadelphia very carefully plans for public safety for every major event that happens in our city, from the Wawa Welcome America Festival and our 4th of July to races like Philadelphia Marathon and, of course, the Broad Street Run, and so many, many others. As we've planned for the Broad Street Run, let me be very clear. There is no specific threat to the city of Philadelphia. Having said that, but in light of the events in Boston, and especially for the Broad Street Run, there will be enhanced security measures to ensure that all of our events are safe, secure, and successful. Runners and spectators will see an increased police presence and emergency personnel stationed along the entire race course. The Blue Cross Broad Street Run organizers have issued public safety information and tips to runners and spectators for race day. And here are a few of them. All runners electing to use a gear check on race day must pack their gear in clear plastic bags, which will be provided at the Race Expo prior to the race. Of course, we're anticipating nice weather, but if in the event weather doesn't cooperate, organizers recommend that runners do not bring any gear with them. Backpacks will not be allowed at the race. Prior to the start of the race, runners and spectators should sign up to receive emergency text alerts by visiting www.readynotifypa.org. This is one way that race officials will alert participants if there is any particular emergency on race day. Additionally, there will be public announcement systems at every water station along the race course, which will also be used in the event that there is any kind of emergency. There will be 3 evacuation shelters along the race course. Please report to one of these locations if for some reason a person needs to seek shelter during an emergency. Those 3 locations are the following: Ben Franklin High School at Broad and Spring Garden, School for the Creative and Performing Arts at Broad and Christian, South Philadelphia High School at Broad and Snyder. Bags, backpacks, coolers, and similar items, as I mentioned earlier, are prohibited from the Navy Yard complex at the end of the race course. Do not bring any of these kinds of items with you to that location. And as always, if you see something suspicious on race day or any other day, report it to a police officer or immediately call 911. There will be a uniformed police presence along the race course and again at every water station. We're doing everything in our power, certainly, to make sure that the City of Philadelphia has a fun, safe, successful, and enjoyable race on Sunday. Even with all that effort, we certainly know that the events in Boston will certainly be on everyone's mind. And to show our support and compassion for the people of Boston, this year we will do the following. We'll be providing our runners, our volunteers, and spectators with colorful stickers to wear featuring a new logo that was just recently designed and unveiled at the National Walk at Lunch Day, and that is "From Philly to Boston with Love." Second, we want to encourage donations to the One Fund in Boston, which is raising funds to help the victims of the bombing. The peel off on the back of each sticker will include a note from Independence Blue Cross CEO Dan Hilferty and me, encouraging contributions and providing the link to that particular website. That is www.onefundboston.org. The entire nation was moved by the tragic events that we saw that day, and I know that Philadelphians and many in our region, and especially the running community, will want to show their love and support for our brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans in Boston. So let's get out there on May 5th, Philadelphia. Let's have a great race, and let's also show Boston some much-needed love. And with that, we'll be glad to take any questions that you might have. Yes, sir.
You said no backpacks are being permitted. Is that anywhere along the raceway, or is that just in the Navy Yard?
Certainly prohibited in the Navy Yard, and we want to discourage it anywhere along the race course. It's just a lot easier for us to deal with this, and as I mentioned earlier, we're asking certainly the runners, if they have gear, if it's a really nice day, try not to bring any, but if you have stuff, we'll provide you with clear plastic bags at the Runners Expo prior to the race.
Spectators good?
We prefer the spectators not bring backpacks as well. Obviously, we're cognizant of what happened in Boston. It was not because of runners. It was because of some people who happened to be there. So we're strongly discouraging bags and backpacks and all of those kinds of items. It just makes it a whole lot easier and a whole lot safer for everyone.
You mentioned uniform police presence. Is there going to be any other sort of efforts by the police, whether it's plain clothes or cameras or people coming over that?
Yeah, well, how do I say this nicely? If I told you that, it would defeat our purpose. So let me, as we said at the first press conference in the hours after the bombing, you will see an enhanced police presence. You will see other things that are quite visible to you. There'll be a bunch of other stuff that we're doing that you won't see, you shouldn't see, and we're not going to tell you about for all the right reasons.
Can you speak to the difficulty just of guarding against the 10-mile stretch of busy road?
It's 10 miles. I mean, look, we've been doing I think the Broad Street Run is now in its 28th, 29th year. It's been a very successful race. This is not the first time we've had to prepare for the Broad Street Run. But again, we were very cognizant of the kind of insanity that we saw and experienced in Boston. We've enhanced our security efforts. We plan for these events and all other big events. Again, there are things that you see, there are things that you don't see. That's why we've been very fortunate over the years. But we take nothing for granted, and all of us are still on a rather heightened alert about these kinds of events, and we have many, many others coming up. So it's a challenge. We're up to the challenge. We do big things here in Philadelphia. Philadelphians are used to that, and I think everyone will be cooperative and be very appreciative of what it is that we're trying to do. Okay, thank you very much. See you out there on race day.